Travel Journals, May 19th, 1967. We shall remember this day always, I think. After breakfast, on to the bus, Piazzale Roma, where we take the boat, public transportation no less. This is the whole group again, for sightseeing till after lunch. Oh, how fantastic, when after 3 stops, like street stops, we arrive in the old city. Gondolas, boats, canals, Venetian buildings. Ted turned us over to a delightful guide named George. On through little narrow streets with shops. Oh, so interesting. To St. Mark's Square. What am I doing here? I see it, but I don't believe it. It's time about the pigeons. Thousands in the immense and beautiful, reeking old square. Venice is much bigger than we thought. He takes us to the inside of St. Mark's. Doge's Palace. So wonderful to see. Priceless paintings. Tells us some history of the Doges. Head of Venice was huge power in Middle Ages. Covered much territory and ruled by the Doges. Was not elected in small street groups. Never from father to son. See the painting that was swiped, and there's a reproduction too. In its place, they can gather up rooms 100 by 200 with no supports. Brilliant. Finished in 1200, started in 800 AD. Walked through Bridge of Sighs and down into dungeons. Upper for robbers, etc. Lower for political, who didn't have a chance with water, rats, and all. Of course, they all but a few were handed or beheaded anyways. Hence the Bridge of Sighs, some happy, some sad. Walked to bridge. Didn't have time to go to Ledo Beach and swim in the Adriatic Sea, darn it. By the way, Casanova is the only prisoner to escape from the dungeon. When we went to the glassblowers and had a wonderful, interesting demonstration, after which we browsed their shop. Then, lunch at a restaurant, spaghetti, fish, Chianti. Greg, Peggy, Ray, and I browsed and trumped and liaised in the square and lovely little streets. You couldn't imagine the fresh seafood in little shops and pastries and jewelry and etc. Stopped and had cafe long and sweets. Went for gondola ride. Too nice. Went up to top of Basilica for a magnificent view of Venice and canals, St. Mark's Dome and Adriatic Sea. Back to square to see how my oil painter was coming along. A palette knife painter makes me envious. Little pigeon hustled for safety to mother. So interesting. Met group finally. Back to boat ferry. On to bus. Back to hotel. Washed for dinner. Had good soup and chicken. White wine. Peggy, Ray, and I went for a walk in the old city. Whole crazy group went back for an organized gondola ride. We went to the top of a closed department store for cafe longue and a suite and a strange restaurant. Looked for oranges for Greg, who thought he had a cold. Back home to bed.